Welcome back to Cheat to Death Fabrication. In this video, we have a Jeep Renegade in the shop and we're building a front bumper. As you can see, we've already got a winch bumper on this Renegade. For reference, I'm putting up a picture of the rendering right up here, adding a plate to the side here. That plate is going to have some tubing wrapping around this section of the bumper, some tubing going down into the bottom of that plate, a face plate, skid plate, as well as this setup on the other side as well. And because the bumper has already been removed, I can jump straight into fabrication. As always, the fabrication process has been turned into a little montage for your viewing pleasure, and I will check back in once this bumper is complete and installed. Usually this would conclude the entire build, but we're missing one more thing, the skid plate. And that concludes the entire front bumper build for this Jeep Renegade. You may have noticed a few different changes throughout the build process, so let's go over the entire build. So from the beginning, the idea was to take the original winch bumper that was on this Jeep and modify it so that we could get something like this. When I got to the point of doing the lights, the winch actually sat way too close for the housing, and that housing that you see back there actually butted up against the winch. So I had to cut the entire top of this bumper off, the original bumper anyways, and also the face so that we could extend the entire thing 1.5 inches forward. The winch bumper stopped at about here, so I added 1.5 inches all the way across. That way I could fit the winch back in there and also the housing for these lights. We've got some tubing here on the side for some more protection, and in the original rendering, the tubing actually ended right here, but we added a little bit more to the side here for a little bit more protection. Then we've also got these light mounts here, and the way that they're positioned actually gives you enough room to be able to have this light facing directly forward like this, or more to the side like this. And then we've also got the same setup over here on the driver's side as well. One of the biggest concerns that my client expressed for this build was making sure that we had enough airflow. Evidently, this Jeep has a tendency of overheating on him. So in order to combat that, we have added a few things to the design in order to maximize airflow. On the face of the bumper, we have these rectangular vents. We've got another rectangular vent over here on the driver's side as well. And of course, we have this large open section here for a lot more airflow. The idea with this section being completely open like this was to be able to access this handle right here to engage the winch. And then of course we have the entire skid plate helping with airflow as well. On the bottom here, we have 9 holes to help with airflow. And then on the very bottom, we have 2 more holes for drainage. And then of course we have this middle section here as well. Now originally I had suggested keeping that a sheet of steel with some holes drilled into it, just like this bottom section. But my client had suggested a type of mesh or chicken wire in order to increase airflow. The biggest concern with this middle section is going to be the mesh. Upon any kind of hard impact, the mesh may break loose, even though it is completely welded to the frame of that centerpiece. In the future, should this need to be changed, I will likely have to build another plate like this with some holes drilled into it to keep airflow going to the radiator. Another thing to keep in mind with this build was the location of the controller for the winch. We are going to be mounting the controller for the winch on the inside of the bumper on the other side of this plate right here. But there's not enough room to be able to access it through here. So this skid plate is actually on 2 hinges. You'll see them right there. And in order to drop this middle section, you undo this 11mm bolt on this side and also the other side. And by removing those bolts, you can drop down this middle section here and have complete access to where the winch controller will be. We've also got these built-in fog lights. And lastly, we've got some recovery points. I do think that this is one of the best examples for an off-road or overland Jeep Renegade that I've ever seen, and we definitely took it up a notch with this complete bumper. Anyways, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys, as always, for watching this video and being a part of Cheetah Death Fabrication. And as always, I will see you guys in the next fabrication video.